I grew up in a really unique way, I think, just for the world, not outside of America, but I grew up in another country. I grew up in Italy, but I wasn't with Italians per se. I was in a multinational cult called Children of God, and my father ran the Italian chapter. And we grew up, I was born into it, so there was a very different set of rules. I don't know what was happening in the rest of the world. I have no idea. I don't know what TV shows were on. I don't know what music people were listening to. And I also didn't know what I looked like because there was very little importance placed on what we looked like. We were supposed to be raised as superminds. And my parents and all of the other parents fought for that, so we had no mirrors. And for the first 10 years, what that gives you is this great freedom to not be a boy or a girl. So imagine getting to 10 years old and you don't subscribe to anything that tells you what you are, other than your own internal feelings. And that, I think, has put me fundamentally at odds with a lot of society, or at least, like when I butt heads with it. And it also, I think, gives me kind of a superpower. I got a grace period. That kind of indoctrination that so many people get, where they have to then unthink and deprogram themselves, as they go along. I didn't get that programming. They tried to program me with other stuff. That didn't really work either. But
you always said you were kind of immune to that. How can you really be immune when you're 1, 2, 3 years old?
I was a strange child. I just came out.
You don't say.
You don't say. I would watch what they were doing, the cult members, and it just wasn't matching up with what they were saying. And I just thought, well, if I say I believe in your God, this is just to make you feel better. Why would I want to make you feel better? If I have to lie to make you feel better, then I'm making myself feel bad. So it just struck me as something of a devil's bargain. And so I was never able to tell people what they wanted to hear. It would have probably made my life, I guess, easier in the short term. But I think when you keep giving that part of yourself away, that is just to make other people feel better in the short term, instead of doing what's right, you lose yourself.
So it did give you that bubble, though, to where you could kind of evolve in some kind of a weird natural way, without all these kind of societal stereotypes.
Exactly. It's like growing up in a forest and then being thrown out to America.
Right. So that happened next.
Ah.
So how old were you when you went to America? 10. So boom, you go to America.
A Navy base.
Ooh, Navy base. Where was that again?
In Washington State.
Okay.
Yeah, that was some, they changed my name from Rosa to Rose the first day of school. And they put my hand on my chest and they made me lead the class in the Pledge of Allegiance, which I refused to do. And the first words that I said in English, I heard the teachers behind me say, "We're going to get the commie out of her." And I said, "Italians were fascists."
That's quite an
indoctrination. Dummy.
Right. Yeah, the Pledge of Allegiance can be a little heavy if you really think
and I had no idea what they were talking about. I was like, and they had my hand. They were just like forcing it on my chest while they all repeated it. And nationalism is something that escapes me entirely. I'm not nationalistic in the least. I don't feel like I have a home, and I don't feel a great kinship to any land, which kind of makes me sad, but in a lot of ways I think it frees me as well.
So you walked away from this one cult, and then you've kind of gone into America.
Which is a cult.